89.3 FM WNUR HD1 Evanston, Chicago. This is the Vintage House Radio Show. I am your host tonight, DJ Rocky Floyd. And I have the honor and privilege of talking to a very good friend, first of all, and a very good DJ, and more importantly, a very great producer. Um, his name is Maurice Davis, but he is known as the Abbott DJ Titan or Titan Abbott. He got a whole bunch of names. Nonetheless, if you're in Chicago and you don't know who Titan is, there's some problems for you. Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I can't complain. Okay, so basically, what I do is I try to I want to provide people with backgrounds just in case they don't know who you are, which to me would be like utterly ridiculous if you were in the Chicagoland area. However, um, give me a little background on Maurice Davis and how Maurice Davis became DJ Titan, how DJ Titan became the Abbott.
Oh, you want the long version or the short version?
Well, we only got 60 minutes here, brothers. So we want to talk about I don't want you up here talking about I was born by the river. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right. Well, originally from the west side of Chicago,
okay.
K-Town, by the way of K-Town. I've always been around music. My uncle is the late great Eddie C. Campbell, who was actually the apprentice to Muddy Waters.
Okay.
So I've been around music a lot, but I didn't get into music until like really into it till my brother started playing music in the house when my motherly he'd bang the radio and he'd play Pink Floyd, Chicago, Boston, Jimmy, Kiss. He played all rock. My brother's a hippie. And as a kid,
Okay.
he would explain to me all these different instruments and things that's going on. The bass playing, he explains the bass, playing the drums. Oh, that's a hi hat. That's the drum, the kick drum. He explained all this stuff to me, and I got intrigued as a kid. So we moved from the west side and ended up moving several different places. I lived on the southeast, 51st and Forestville, where I learned about the Hot Mix 5. I was going to Walter H. Died at the time, right there across the street from my house, and Providence Hospital was on the right of me. And
Okay.
every day I would run home because we had lunchtime. We get to go home, go outside to have lunch. And I would come home so I could take the hot mixes on the radio. And this is my first
Okay.
time listening to WBMX radio, and I think even GCI was doing house still. I mean, well, it was doing house music, and but yet at the time, it wasn't called house at all. It was just the mixes, the hot mixes.
Right. Hot mix.
It
Right.
wasn't really called house music, and we moved again to the east side, further east, all around the lake. I lived on 77 in Nexus, where a lot of great DJs that I know lived in the area, like Jerome Orr, who was a good friend of mine, and one of my DJ brothers that looked out for me and taught me a lot of things. Chris Poe, who was part of SRO, that hung out with Nick Nonstop, who did Jack My Body, and Ron Carroll, who I went to school with. I went to school with Ron and Jerome with South Shore.
Okay.
And but me finding my niche in the DJ world, I didn't do that until I graduated from 8th grade, and that was 1986. And I asked my mother for money to get equipment because guys like again Chris Poe spinning, Antoine Williams, um, Keith Kaiser, Michael Powell, all these guys living around me. They had equipment, and they wouldn't let me touch nothing because I would ask questions and they would ignore me, because I was a kid. And I told my mother what I need to get, and she didn't. I didn't really know, but I didn't know the prices of it rather. And I ended up buying some equipment from this guy named Steve Zinneman. He lived on the
Okay.
next block, which was Kingston, and he sold me two turntables. There was those realistic versions of the Technique SL B100s,
Yeah.
the generic, Radio Shack version, and
Radio Shack. Yeah.
he sold me a Teledyne mixer too.
Oh
And
wow.
I was
Okay.
as happy as a clam with that. But one of the tone arms on the turntable was broken. I was like, oh God. I could do that, but learn to practice how to scratch. And my boy Tony Cleveland, who lived upstairs from me, was my best friend at the time, taught me scratching. From what he's seen, we saw Herbie Hancock and DST on radio, and on TV, and they was doing Rocket Live.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh man, so this I'm seeing for the first time, really scratching because the guys in the neighborhood wasn't really doing it, and I learned from watching that, and then we went to go see B Street, and I saw that. I'm like, oh Lord, and I really got excited, and oh
Okay.
man, I met a lot of guys in the neighborhood that was doing it. My man DJ E, Eric Jackson, his father had a pair of 12s in his basement. And he said, man, my father got 12s. And we went down there and checked them out. He pulled the cover off to them 12s, boys, like a brand new car. And his father had a tape deck. It was a Newmark tape deck with a cassette player in it. Blew my mind. And we played around and stuff, but we had to do it in secret because his father would kill us. So
Right.
I got equipment too. Eric went over to his little corner in the basement, and he had a pair of Raggedy turntables, man. And he had I think he had it was a Newmark mixer with it, but it was a knob, it was a rotary. It was a one knob fader mixer.
Right.
So we played on that, man, and but I bought my stuff over there and we put our equipment together. We became Circle Sound Productions. And that's where my starting of DJing started there. Rocky. Rocky, you're frozen. Rocky. Rocky.
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, you know, if they know the history of you, they know that um, you come from a core of hip hop more than you do house.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
let's
if the,
let's
you
let's
know,
let's let's take it
go ahead.
back. At the age when the
Okay.
house first started, I was too young to be going to those clubs that they went to. Um, I didn't go to the warehouse. I didn't go to Music Box. I didn't do Llama Rock. I was a kid. So for me to sit
Right.
and tell that lie would be foolish to try to fit in.
No, I
So
got you. No,
my
no,
house
no. I know that.
adventures, let's be real. My house adventures was basement parties, abandoned building parties, or somebody in the neighborhood throwing a party, backyard party. I still existed when house music was coming along. But as a DJ, I didn't have one style. You got to remember when house music was starting, hip hop was coming in and eradicating
Right.
any thought of house music because in my time, a lot of guys that thought that if you listen to house music, that thought you were gay, and they would jump you or beat you up if you was part of that
Walking down the
scene.
street
That's
playing
what
music.
it was. And for when I was, when I was coming, that's what it
Okay.
was. So, but when when I started listening
Okay.
to stuff like Run DMC, Public Enemy, and all that, I got deep into the hip hop side, and I found scratching to be very fun. So I got into scratching and hip hop. I discovered NURW KKC. T-Shot Bleed from that station that you're on now was my favorite. Him and Easy
Mm-hmm.
Lee, Prince Easy Lee, and Larry Live. We fly in from New York and play the hot mixes, and then I discovered WHBK, and I was sold. So at that time frame, you're right, but I did buy a lot of house music that was coming out. Um, on Track Records and DJ International, and the disco stuff. You get lucky because back then they used to black their records out. You didn't know what was what. They wouldn't tell you the name of the
What
records.
was what? Yeah.
If if you found it, you was a lucky son of a gun to have that record. Because Black Terry lived across the street from me, and to this day he'll tell you, I was playing it, but I wasn't in that scene. There he is, right there. Look at that,
Yep. We
Black
talked
Terry.
you
What
up,
I just
Terry.
brought your name up.
Yes, we
And he
did. We talked
still
you up.
got a credit my records. He got a credit my records to this day of house music.
Yeah, Terry, you need to bring him back. Hurry up.
I wish he would. He keeps on, I got your records. He always tell me, I got your records. Yeah, well, get him here. It'd be nice to see him again, because at that time, if you was in the neighborhood, you loaned your records to your buddies, and we give them right back. That's how it was. And give them back. But I think what happened was when I loaned Terry my records, I moved again. And that's why he still had those records. I moved to the south suburbs when my father passed.
I got you. I think we just have to come up here on a Sunday night when they doing midnight to 6, and we're gonna have to bum rush them.
Hey, it's cool with me, man. But yeah, I was doing a lot of hip hop, and I got real popular on the hip hop side. I was mixing up north at I was at the Lava Lounge, the Juno Bar, the Blue Note, the Double Door. I could have been at the Red Dog with my man Jesse De La Pena, but I lived so far in the suburbs, and I had no way. I had no vehicle at the time. But when I was mixing up north, that was at the time I actually bought my very first car. After the fact that when he asked me that, but I had ended up buying a car for my best friend. So
yeah,
but at the time they had their people already. So yeah.
Tell them where the Lava Lounge was.
What up, Lava Lounge was on Damon, wasn't it? Yeah, coming to Damon.
I never went to the Lava Lounge, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, the only thing I knew about the only lounge I was going to north of I was going to the Lizard Lounge. So.
Yeah. I think the Lava Lounge is coming up Damon. It was north on Damon. I can't remember I got a flyer around here with the address on it somewhere, but yeah. What up, Avon?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
959 North Horn. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, it was somewhere. Horn's like a couple blocks from Damon. So
yep. Yeah. Okay, so I like I said, I mean, a lot of people from your early on years know that hip hop was your thing. Not saying that you couldn't do other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's where you were. It's where where your foundation comes from, so everybody know you from.
Yeah.
So you're a producer. So I know most of your productions everything is based on your drum lines and everything. I know you're a very deep drumline person, and because I'm an avid fan of you. If it comes out, I'm gonna get it.
Thank you.
But what do you how do you? Because I'm gonna go back and forth because I want in case people don't know how do you decide how you're gonna make your music?
Well, everything always starts with the drums with me. If I decide I'm gonna do a track, let's get this clear. I love remixes. Reason I do remixes because it gives the people to get a chance to reminisce on the old stuff and give them a new twist to it so they can play it again.
Right.
What was old and make it new. So I would take I just did a remix of Teddy Pendergrass Bad Luck, but I hybrided it with The Love I Lost. I used the lyrics and I made a whole different joint out of it. And I actually freaked the drums. There's a whole different drum style on there. It's not the same drum pattern.
Yeah, I know that breakdown at the end is that's when you get to the end, yeah.
It's a different drum pattern and everything. But I'm from my hip hop experience. This is a secret that nobody ever really say. Being a hip hop producer, I'd use hip hop style of chopping tracks, drums and stuff like that. and I
Okay.
play my drums like a hip hop dude would on top of house music. That's
Okay.
why my drums be like kind of crazy, like whoa,
Right.
like. And a lot of people don't catch on, but a lot of the hip hop heads that produce do because they know the styles and patterns. House music is always four on the floor, boom, 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 but they
Mm-hmm.
never really freak the four on the floor like that.
Right.
So yeah, I think
You get. I mean,
Dunn,
you get some, but you won't get a lot. Mike Dunn does it.
Mike Dunn does it because he's a
Yeah.
hip hop dude too. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people keep forgetting that Mike Dunn does hip hop. He does a
Right.
lot of hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. Um. Okay. So for the house side, um, who would you say would be some of your personal influences first as a DJ and then as a producer?
from anywhere. Well, I got a couple of different influences. So let's go first and foremost. As far as production here on the house side, it got to be Mike. Mike is like really crazy with it, man. Serious. He's a serious dude with his tracks, and I study him. I even asked Mike one time, could he mentor me? And I meant that. He just smiled. You're like, hey, man, he didn't know what to say. I guess either he was being humble or he just didn't want to say no, or I don't know. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, he might not have known if you were serious because again, dude,
Yeah.
you put out a lot of stuff.
Well, I
So it's
had to because I had a point to prove. You have to
absolutely.
remember, they wasn't taking me serious because I was, the hip hop dude. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna show you I better than I can tell you. And when they
They
start seeing,
they didn't think what you're doing yeah, your content is real. They didn't know the seriousness of how real it was for you. Right. I got you.
so what I did, I'm gonna tell you something. This is crazy, and there's no disrespect to Mike because you have to honor him when he say something. So what it was, Mike Dunn had that. Remember when that Bosses to Death came out?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I was like, yo, I heard Gene playing it, and Gene was like, man, that's Mike Dunn. I said, really? I said, oh my God. Then he said, man, Gene would have probably gave it to me if I asked him. I said, I want to ask Mike direct so I can say that I got it directly from Mike. So when I asked Mike
Mm-hmm.
for it, Mike told me, man, bruh, if I give you this Mike Dunn track is no longer be a Mike Dunn track, it'd be a Mike Dunn a Titan track. And I ain't know what he meant by that when he said that. I'm like, huh? But in a nutshell, dude, I mean, he'll be less exclusive because now people come here, you play my track.
Mm-hmm.
And and there's trueness to it because music make people popular, make DJs popular. It all depends on what you're playing. It's not the other way
Mm-hmm.
around, whereas your skill set that made you popular or how you made those people move and dance on the floor. So he said that that's okay. I see right now that I'm gonna have to start showing people I can do the same thing. And I started doing edits and I was putting them up on SoundCloud for free. Just gave them away. Yeah, take it. I don't care. I was just doing something to set off something and I kept going with it. Just kept going and going and going and going and going, man. And that's how, I started getting noticed from a lot of DJs and want to play my stuff. And then it kind of took off from there. But to go back to your original question, he's one of my biggest influences. And then my man Doc Jose, that
Yes.
dude,
Oh
crazy
yeah.
with it, man. Doc,
Yeah.
he don't get enough praise for
Straight
this
food.
dude. Cool as a
Straight
fan
food.
and
Yes.
very dope on those decks and those tracks. His
Yes.
track dope. He was actually my partner when we did New Groove Chicago Records, and we did
Okay.
an album called League of Extraordinary Producers where I showcased
Yes.
guys from Chicago. It wasn't see, I'm not a selfish person. I knew guys that got down, so I asked him, asked DJ Sound, who was my partner, Derek
Mm-hmm.
Sells, and I asked Sean Campbell, who's dope with it too, and I
Yes.
asked and Doc. So that was the first run. The second run was going to be my other favorite guy from Chicago, Pierre Harris.
Yeah.
Pierre is a problem.
Yes. Monster.
There's
He's another monster.
And
Yeah.
then my
This
man,
city has a ton of talent.
yes, sir, my man
Yeah.
DJ Latal,
Yes.
just a monster. I want to put him on there, and Paul Johnson and Rex Racer. I was trying to put all these different producers and DJs on different volumes of League of Extraordinary Producers, and
Okay.
that's what I was on. I was trying to expose people to more different, diverse people. You know, DJs that
Right.
did everything. All these guys are DJs and producers.
Right.
So that's what I was on with that. And
Okay.
my last but not least person, believe it or not, y'all gonna trip when I say this, Anane.
Oh, okay.
Anane Vega.
Mm-hmm.
She she has stepped out of the light of her husband
Mm-hmm.
and shining, brother.
She has
Anane,
a very different flair than her
yes,
husband.
Anane is
Absolutely.
very, very, very dope, man. And I love what she's doing, you know.
Yeah.
So as far as that goes, and those people that I mentioned are really, really, really dope to me. I got more people I could have mentioned, you know, but those are my favorite guys that influenced me a lot, you know.
Okay. All right. So now on the DJ side.
Mm. Who's my favorite DJs on the what
Yes.
outside?
On the house side. Yes, sir.
That's really dope with Latal, DJ Latal's cold. My man DJ X Ray is cold. Um, but don't get enough shine because I think a lot of people look down on the West Side cats. I don't know why, but these guys are monsters. Everybody from the West Side that I ever encountered was beastly on production and DJing.
Yeah.
And they, I don't know why it's a South Side, West Side thing. To me, if you just go where you go, you should be able to travel wherever you want to and enjoy good music and make friends. And that's what I did. I jumped on the bus many a days. Super transfers took me everywhere, got on the L, went
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, north side, west side. I didn't care where I was, as long as I was going to enjoy some music.
Yeah.
Um,
I think one of the things that I forgot who I was discussing it with, um, is that we have so much diversity. Sometimes it's a double edged sword because we we become ish then, and in
yeah,
doing that, we isolate people, and some do it just because of just fear, just hate and
yeah,
fear of that person end up being better than you, or it's just for the mere fact that your shine might be a little bit too much for me to handle.
right.
So you know what I mean. But if the per the purpose of the purpose of this music was about love, and
Absolutely.
because we were partiers before a lot of us became DJs.
Absolutely.
And when we partied, everybody was cool. But then all of a sudden, now I'm DJing, you're
Well,
DJing. So, it
you
makes
know
sense like,
what it was. A lot of the dancers started gravitating towards DJing because they went to the parties and
mm-hmm,
they felt like, well, I know these songs too. I'm gonna go ahead and move up to this. Technology has made it more accessible to everybody to become a DJ. But
right,
a lot of these people are DJing, like Schoolie D said, everybody's rapping, but they don't know how.
right.
Same thing with the DJs.
Absolutely.
You got the music, you got the little controller, you got the laptop, but now you're a DJ. No, that's not how that works. And we need to stop, and I'm gonna say this with all respect due. Stop praising whackness because you
Right.
have to be very honest with people when you dealing with music. You even if you're really a friend, you're gonna tell them they're whack. Hey man, that's horrible. Cut that out, man. Practice.
Mm,
Go do this over. You're not gonna
right.
send them out there and throw them under the bus. You rather sell it to them directly and in their face where it's real. And they ain't no diss. Like, hey man, you ain't looking good out here, fam. It's too many people doing fakeness. Oh yeah, oh they cold. You cold. You got down knowing you sound like crazy, like hot garbage.
Yeah, and right. And most of them are the ones trying to get on as well. So
So
I'm not gonna put you down.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
but
again, because if you make it, I was supporting you. you
listen,
got me. See, so yeah, I think,
it's bad because people don't understand that you're lying. You're lying to people
yeah,
to just to make them comfortable. You don't want to hurt their feelings. It's not about hurting their feelings, it's about helping them
right,
understand. Get it
right,
together, man, before you get out here and embarrass yourself.
right.
Now, if we was just still spinning on, if it was no digital, this, that, and the other, just straight vinyl, it'd be less DJs.
It sure would.
It'll be less because they're not
Oh,
going
yes, it
to spend
would.
the money. They're not going to spend the money. They're not
Mm-hmm.
going to spend that money to
Mm-hmm.
rock a party. They'll just say, hey, man, if they ain't in love with the music, some people are doing it as a second stream income.
Yeah,
Well,
we
I'm
go
gonna try
back.
this. Yeah,
If we
so
go back to if we go back to non-powered speakers, we lose a lot of
that's
DJs.
the passive days or something because you had to have the right equipment to come out with the
Man, yeah, them back in the days and carrying all that
money
stuff.
not cheap. Can't be coming out cheap. And I'm not for to carry no heavy speakers, no 100, 200 pound speakers, man.
Mm-mm.
I'm not on that no more.
No, 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 no. I
But
mean,
I
and that's the
understand.
best side of the top. That's the best side of the technology is that
Yeah.
the fact that, of
So
course, it gets simpler to move. Yeah,
it helped. Technology helped us, but it hurt at the same time because
double-edged sword. Yeah,
everybody wants to be a part of it. They want to
right.
be popular. They want to be famous. But at the end of the day, they ask them, do they love the music?
That's what it's supposed to
Ask
be
them, what
about.
do you play besides house music and hip hop? What do you play? What do you listen to?
Right.
That's why me and Will Jacks, it was another good friend of mine who's out. He got the best rental center system out here. He rents
Mm-hmm.
out his equipment besides Dwayne Woods.
Jack Sounds. Look them up.
Sounds, that's right. We started doing this thing called Dusty's in the Park.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wasn't here for the first one because obviously I was touring over in Baltimore and setting up my next tour for New York for December. Um, he said it went over pretty good, but that's the whole purpose of us doing is to have some type of something different. You tired of eating
Right.
meat? You tired of eating meat? You want to put that meat down for a minute and grab you a couple of those greens. Let's put some greens in this mixture,
Right. I got you.
and slow down on the floor and put some grooves back in when tunes was tunes. Listen to some Brother Johnson. Listen to some Parliament, some
Bring
Cameo.
back some bands. Right.
Bring back that. There you go. So that's the whole purpose. The original purpose of doing Dusty's in the Park was to bring back the band, which I want to bring cover bands in to play these tunes besides having just DJs. And
Right.
I'm getting some
Okay.
good ones too. So next year is gonna be really off the chain. Y'all just look out for that. I'm gonna just remember it's Dusty's in the Park, but we might change the name to Funkin' in the Park because
Okay.
when you say Dusty's, people start thinking, oh, they's gonna play some old
Right.
super
Marvin
grand,
Gaye.
like
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
back the
Right.
contours and stuff. Like no. I'm
Right.
talking about when I say Dusty's, I'm talking about strictly late 60s, 70s, 80s music. That's it.
Right. When
They
bands were bands, I feel you.
and they
Yeah.
played those grooves that made you dance. So yeah.
Okay. So now, for people that don't know you are a part of the Ghetto DJs. So,
I was part of the
mm,
ghetto DJs. I
no,
was a
no,
part of
no,
that.
you are. I
Well,
mean,
they're still family. They still let's put it like that. They're still family.
I'm about to say they're
Uh,
still family,
they're
and
definitely family.
they still see. I mean, I don't see no one not seeing you as part of Ghetto DJs. But again, that's something that might be that goes on inside of you, what you guys do. Nonetheless, if you know Titan, you know Titan was always a part of Ghetto DJs.
Mm-hmm.
If there was progression of the group, there was by support as most of the core from the beginning. So
Well, to
I
break it
used to
down,
guys used to have some of the best picnics.
originally my
Yes.
crew was Table Manners. I had a group called Table Manners, and it consists of
Mm-hmm.
me, Funk One, my man John Swift, Low Key Native One, and DJ Mad Jazz was the original five from Chicago because we have a branch that's in Florida as well. and a branch is in California, and those the guys that do the beat juggling and stuff like that. So somebody asked, "What is the ghetto
Okay.
DJs?" Well, ghetto DJs. It's a group of DJs. Let me give you the brief history of that. How Ghetto House came about. So when house music here in Chicago died down, on the radios wasn't playing it anymore, and it kind of went underground. It never left. It just went underground, and like it was when it first started. It went when people knew where to go party at the house functions, and the radio wasn't really playing anything. So the DJs started making their own tracks, using samplers, little samplers, and they was throwing in stuff that was hood related stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
"Get Down, Little Mama"
Mm-hmm.
or Erkin Jurgen and Let Me See You
Right.
Butterfly. So the kids, so what Ghetto House is doing pretty much is bringing that four on the floor back to the to the streets and to the radio where the people will enjoy the younger people would
Right.
get into what they saw their parents listening to. And then, oh, I remember this, like I beat that with a bat, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It got popular.
Right.
And it took off, it blew up. And the sad part about that is it was a genre that was not accepted here at home in Chicago, which is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Ghetto House, the bastard child of house music, just like house music is the bastard child of disco music.
Right.
So
It took time. It took time for people to accept it. I mean,
yeah, well, they still really don't accept it. It's for the cats that was like my generation, which I would consider myself in the midst of being between second generation house and third.
right.
So I'm like in the middle of that with the transition. I was there when Time to Jack came around. I was privileged to buy those records when it was in the original um, um, state of being pressed, the orange label and the gray label, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Not before he went on DJ International and stuff like that. So I was there as house was being born. I was there. I just wasn't at the clubs doing it. I wasn't there. All my neighborhood heroes was there.
Right.
They taught me a lot about what records to get and this, that, and the other, and that's what it was. But as far as the ghetto
Okay.
DJs,
So
those are my bros, and I still love them to death and would do anything for them. But I had to step out of the limelight of them because you got to remember you got 40 DJs over there, and everybody wants to get their shine, but
right.
they don't understand that it takes time for everybody. Everybody can't play at one time.
Right.
And if you're not ready to play, we're not going to put you on to play because we don't want you to embarrass yourself nor the crew.
Right.
So that's
Understandable.
how it yeah.
So
So
so ghetto meant what? What was it?
it's
I
an
mean, it was
acronym. Ghetto is
for.
spelled GETO,
Mm-hmm.
meaning greatest enterprise to observe or greatest entertainment taken over.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we was there to show we had the best of the best DJs that got down. We talking about um, battle winning DJs and young guys that got it in and knew how to play that music,
Mm-hmm.
man. Especially like my man Jammin Gerald, X-Ray, DJ Rock, you
Mm-hmm.
know, Bobby, DJ Bobby Skills.
Hmm.
Those guys was insane with it, man.
Yes.
So that's why I joined.
Absolutely. I agree.
I was brought in by Shannon Jefferson, who brought me to the West Side and wanted me to meet the guys. But I knew X-Ray for years because me and X-Ray was hip hop guys. He was with Dem Dare, and I was with Shyrock Nation, which is
Okay.
one of the biggest organizations of hip hop in Chicago. And if you guys are in the Chicagoland area, go check out the Chicago Hip Hop Museum. It's on 44th in Indiana. Go check, but
Okay.
make an appointment online though. So to go,
Okay.
yeah, I am on the wall in there because of what I've done for a lot of guys here in Chicago on the hip hop side. Being if you didn't know, I did Twister's first album that got him signed to Loud Records. So he was the first rapper from Chicago to be signed to a major label. Some people will say Common, but Common came after Twister.
Right.
You know, and some people would say 10 Trey, and he was on Smash Polygram Records, but it's a toss up, you know. But yeah,
Right. I got you. I understand. Still
and
didn't answer my question about DJs,
well, favorite
the
DJs,
main ones,
my
favorite
favorite here,
DJs.
I would say
No,
if I'm gonna name
no,
somebody
no,
that's
no, no, no,
well,
no, no. I don't even want to just know here because again, whoever you know helps you be you.
yeah,
So
I've studied a lot of DJs, man, a lot. I pride on people that blend on their breaks, people that's creative enough to create breaks and make the record flow flawless and seamlessly. I want it seamless. If I can't hear that, you know, that phase or whatever going on, then that means that you did an excellent job. Your blend was that clean and their execution got to be clean. So some of the best people I've seen, starting from Chicago to even Atlanta or Detroit and New York. So I'm gonna name off from here DJ Little John, DJ Emmanuel, Mike Dunn, Tony T. Phenomenal DJ that don't get enough props.
mm-hmm,
He's phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
Um, DJ, female DJs. I love Miss Darlene Jackson, Lady D.
Lady DJ, yeah,
Love
Lady
her. Oh
D,
my
yeah.
God. I love her energy. She's so dope. And I love Lori Branch too. Lori gets it in. I've been knowing Lori. She was a hip hop head too, if y'all didn't know that. Lori was suspended for a group called He Who Walks Three Ways. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? You breaking up.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah, I
So,
did.
and as far as my man Mel Star, one of the dopest DJs on the
Yeah.
planet, me, my
Mm-hmm.
man JC, another dope dude. I call him the right hand of the devil because he's sick. Y'all gotta check him out, JC. And last but not
Okay.
least, I want to give it up to Louis Vega. I've seen him spin finally in
Okay.
person. Louis is the truth. That
Yes.
dude is crazy. I sat and watched him at the venue and could not believe how clean his plans was.
Oh, absolutely. I
Jesus
saw
Christ.
him. Listen, I saw him in Miami one time,
Mm,
about 3 or 4 years ago. Three years ago, at the conference. He had a he was a one man set, and when I say
mm,
one man set, he played 9 hours.
wow.
The first 3 hours of it was nothing but salsa, reggae, bachata.
Yeah.
So from like 6 to 9, it's nothing but people spinning people. You have everybody having fun.
Yeah.
9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, he went straight into house music.
Mm,
Dude went from 9 to it had to be about 4 or 5 in the morning.
yeah.
And what I love about him is he's got four CDJs up there, and he is working every one of them.
Yeah.
Working every one
Yeah.
of them flawlessly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know what else is dope like that? Technique, DJ Technique. DJ
Yes.
Technique and DJ Booby from Baltimore are bananas with that, man. Those dudes crazy with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like really, 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 really. He said what cafe he ain't spend for no 9 hours.
He, he did. I was there for the whole 9.
9 hours
Mm.
is impossible. He be to get his book of world records, Jack.
Yes. 9 hours. I'm saying 9 hours. I was there for the 9 hours. So
Jesus
I don't
Christ.
know who that is.
Louis must have took you something really
Yes.
good. You could stay up that long, Jack. But yeah. But those are
Yeah.
my
I mean,
guys. So I pick, you know, Coco
okay.
Chanel. Coco Chanel. Oh
Okay.
my God. Sick with it.
Okay.
Sick.
So now we about to get into the sensitive side of this.
All right, go ahead.
So for people that don't know, let me give you the precursor to this, because I want you guys to understand that the next few questions I'm about to ask him, it's going to be sensitive to some people. So I humbly apologize on what's going to be said. However, it needs to be said so that we as a community can move forward.
Okay,
So with
let's hear
that,
what it says.
with that being said, what is the main problem with Chicago in the house community?
Uh, Everybody wants to be on top.
Okay.
It's too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Okay.
But in my opinion, everybody's minding everybody else's business. Um, you have to break away from being in the same ship. Everybody's following the same people and scared to create their own lane. They had to they had to create their own lane and create their own following. It's
Now,
not
see, when
really
that was said, remember that was said about 7, 8 years ago by a certain person, and a lot of people took offense to that.
yeah, Chicago DJs. I don't. It's the DJs. It's the promoters. It's the constituents that go to the party because they get dragged into DJ promoter politics,
Right.
and it's sad when you got somebody that's super talented that they try to get brushed off because y'all say the powers that be. I don't even call it that. The powers that be. It's just that it's just mainly hatred, and jealousy for somebody that got talent.
Right.
Somebody asked me this in Baltimore, and I went down there. Who they treated me with such class and royalty, whereas I didn't know what was going on. I'm not used to feeling that type of love. And they asked me, "Say, man, after I played my set, all this about 30, 40 DJs there. Some of them flew out from New York, some drove from New Jersey, some drove down from Florida. And they was like, you ours now, we taking you. Said, ain't nobody, they not trying to cuff you in Chicago is how talented you are. I said, nah, it ain't. I said, it's doggy dog. Everybody doing their own thing, man. He said, well, we cuffing you. You not belong to us. We definitely want you here, and we're gonna bring you down for the next joint. They did this thing called Common Minds, which is thrown by Tommy Davis from
Mm-hmm.
Quantize Records, which I will be soon signed to Quantize Records through Tommy Davis, which is love.
Right.
And shout out to my man DJ Clash because he's like he's from New York and he put me in tune with a lot of different stuff, and he got me plugged in with my man Sammy Rock from Cyber Jam Records, who put
Yes.
my joint on Track Source. I didn't know that they was gonna do that, and lo and behold, I'm number 4 right now on the Essential Afro House chart.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and these guys tell me all the time, I said, dude, why ain't they messing with you? Why ain't they plugging you in? You go. What would you think that would help? Is if you was on the Bulls, don't you think if you was shooting like so who was that doing the threes all the time on the Bulls? Um I can't even think. But if you a team player and you can make hits like that, you slam dunking every time, why wouldn't they pull you in? I told them, I said, man, I don't know. Different strokes, different folks. They deal with who they want to deal with.
Right.
But I think more or less it's about them not being able to control me. I don't let nobody talk to me any old type of way, and I tell the truth. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people. They want to sugarcoat stuff, they want to downplay stuff, and treat you like you're less than a man or less than a woman.
Right.
So I tell all my people out here that's going to get into this, man, you got to come in with a thick coat, but come in doing your
Yep.
own thing. Come in doing
Right.
your own thing and make your way and make them respect you. I'm not
Right.
doing bars. I'm not doing lounges. I'm doing private events. And now I'm touring. I'm actually touring them. They're trying to gear me up for next year because it's late in the game right now. They're trying to gear me up so I can go out and do what the rest of these guys doing, making real money. I'm not trying to fight nobody for no $50.
I feel you. I feel you.
What do you think
So
about these?
I think a lot of people sometimes they get the wrong vision of you because
They don't know me. That's why
right.
they,
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. I think again because because I say it something about you to somebody else. That whole story, by the time it gets back to you, is a whole different story.
Yeah.
And because the other people that are talking don't know you.
They
See,
don't.
so I know you're a good dude. I know you're a humble person. You honor the ones that are around you because I know you've been passing out awards to
Yeah,
people that have
that's
land.
another crazy
That
story.
no, wait.
Yeah.
I know what.
Yeah,
I know, but
yeah.
I just want to say that it in the way that Chicago goes, I think a lot of people don't understand what you do, and I think it gets misconstrued sometimes because again, I know you honor the legends, and I know you honor the people who put the base here, or the foundation of what we do.
Foundation, yeah, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
whole purpose of me doing the awards
Mm-hmm.
to people that deserve
Absolutely.
those flowers.
While we're here,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. You can
absolutely,
see how long it took them to really honor Robert Williams,
absolutely,
and he's the man that bought it here.
right,
And I got an award for Robert sitting here, but when that kicked off, hurt my whole soul, man. How they used that brother to try to make me look like I was doing something wrong. When I sat and came to the man's house and showed him these awards, and he honored it and sanctioned it.
right.
And
Yeah,
then
I
it
know
was, and
because I remember that conversation. We had that conversation right when you
it's
was doing it. Yeah.
horrible, man. And now, fast forward, look at the award they just gave. What was it? The same thing that I was giving out. They gave him a metal record. I was giving people actual platinum plaques out of my pocket. I didn't ask for
Right.
no money. I wasn't doing it for likes. I wasn't doing it for shares and none of that. I did it because they deserve that love.
Absolutely. While we're here, get your roses while you're here. I understand
I
completely. Because
also,
there's been so many. There's been so many that deserved it that we can't give it to anymore.
man, listen. Thank you. And Walter Get Down Brown, yeah, Reginald, I definitely had to give him that because he was the man at KKC.
Yes, he was.
He was the man. I mean, you had it. Little John got his too. I saw that. I said, yeah, you got one coming, but I'm doing this out of my own pocket, and then I want to do it only twice a year. So I gave out the two that I was giving, I was giving them to. So far they gave out 7 awards,
Okay.
and 2 of them was hip hop. I gave one to Mel Star, I gave one to JC, and the next one is going to Jazzy Jeff.
Okay.
Gonna get one, and but as far as house music, I'm gonna give Robert his next year because it's been sitting here since I had it done, and he hurt my soul so bad because I couldn't believe that happened. I'm still hurt behind that because all I was trying to do was kind of show people we need to love on each other out here, man.
Mm-hmm.
We need to honor our people that all these years Robert been here, y'all ain't did nothing for him like that.
Right.
Parties for him and stuff like that. That's cool. Show him that you really love him and that you appreciate what he's done. I told him that myself. Man.
I truly believe that the first person that should have gotten a street name should have been him.
Should have been Robert.
I
But at the
I
time,
concur 100% because
our DJ,
none of us would be where we are if he didn't bring that here. If he
Robert,
didn't
and I asked that question too. would house music be the same if Robert Williams never came here? Would it exist here, or what would we be really doing?
I think it
What
would have been I think it would have been a longer time for it to happen.
it
I
would be?
do.
I'll tell you what it would have been. It would have been a New York thing.
Because they were already doing it anyway.
But they'll argue down that that's not real and that's not true.
Right.
But
I mean, again,
the
I think
documentaries,
people like again, I think people still get what's twisted between disco and house. And
mm,
again, I'm not knocking disco. Disco is the foundation for what we did or what was started here.
that's right, Lori. You're right. My
So
cat back.
again, all the Larry Levans and all the
Yeah,
brothers that was doing it over there,
yeah,
I got much respect for them. But they did disco.
yeah,
What Frankie brought here was house because it was a disco trim, but
yeah.
it was a house
It just
foundation.
got turned. It got turned into house when we started doing electronic music. When we started incorporating the drum machines and keyboards to emulate what disco was doing, because they couldn't afford no live orchestras and bands to create that disco sound here. So
Right.
you got drum machines and keyboard players, and they
Hmm.
tried to emulate it, and it became what we know today as house music.
Right. Oh,
So the first person to really do that sound, honestly, Jamie Principle. He was
absolutely.
doing it all. He was a big Prince fan, man.
Absolutely.
So he was playing he was emulating that sound that needed to be seen. I mean, heard. So yeah,
Absolutely.
man. But yeah.
So I what so we actually are now starting to get younger cats DJing. We
Mm,
there are there aren't a lot, but there are a few that are starting to excel in the craft that we've played on for so long. Um, for here we got Floyd
Lori.
Star, DJ Amir. DJ
Mm.
Amir is killing it as well. Shout out to DJ Amir. If nobody doesn't know who DJ Amir is,
Yeah,
please
that
look up
kid,
DJ Amir.
that kid, both of those kids are really dope, but I'm afraid for them because under the wrong tutelage, under the wrong promotion, they can be turned into, they can be turned into one of those type of people.
Right. I
They,
agree.
you get people getting their head, don't mess with this guy, don't mess with this guy. I think they're wonderful. I love hearing
Hmm.
J Star play. I've never met the kid, but I've seen plenty of videos. He's dope. I just seen him mirror playing at you guys thing with GV Disco. He's really nice. And it's a kid named Data 319. It's from here
Yeah.
that
Yes.
I'm starting to work with him. And it's another kid, this chick, my guy DJ Donnell's daughter name is DJ London.
Okay.
She's what, 14, 13,
Yes.
13. These are young kids, and
Hmm.
it's nothing wrong with showing these kids what we know. It's just like I asked Farley some years back, why don't you guys ever pass the torch? And he told me clear as day, he said, Titan, why should I pass my torch if I'm still able to work? There's nothing wrong with you working, but you can't reach the younger crowd like you think. You're gonna get our age. And if the kids do come to see you, they can relate, but they can't relate. But they relate more if it was coming from a younger version of you. So
Exactly.
why not train a younger EJ under your tutelage, under your mantra, and send them out there, this baby Farley. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You had
I
to.
think I think uh I think one of the
Yeah.
issues I've always had was with that word. I hated that word legend. I've never liked that
You
word.
know what?
I like
You have to do something legendary to become a legend. You got
now see
you
now that
have
that I'd rather be legendary than to be a legend. To be
had
perfectly
to
honest,
be
I'd
you
rather
had
have
to be something legend. These self-proclaimed titles and all that. I'm gonna tell you why I call myself the abbot. In martial arts in Shaolin, the abbot is the highest level that you can reach. He understands His knowledge is on top of he's on top of his knowledge. He's paid his due. He earned his respect, and he has students. Once you start getting students and you sitting down somewhere, you earn that title. It's just
Mm-hmm.
um like when which I think was bogus. Grandmaster Flash got the title. He's the Grandmaster. That's like the highest you can get as far as what he believes. Grandmaster, not just
Right.
master. You're a grandmaster, meaning you're the second to the master. I mean, you're the first to the master. You're the first master,
Okay.
but now you're a grandmaster because now you got a master under you. He
Okay.
gave DJ Scratch that title of Grandmaster Scratch now. And I thought that was kind of bogus because Scratch to me, he's a great DJ, but he didn't do what Jazzy Jeff's doing. Jazzy Jeff should have got the title of Grandmaster. He still,
Oh, absolutely.
but that's just me. That's another story. But anyway,
That's cool. So what would what do you think we could do to reinvigorate our generation to where we need to be?
it's kind
Our
of
generation,
late in the game. Our
our
generation,
our
our age group,
yes,
late in the game to do. We can't really do anything but love on the ones that love you, and keep positivity in your heart and your mind and your soul, man, and just continue being great at what you do. We can't really we're at the point now that we can become teachers to the younger. We can't tell an
okay,
old man how to be an old man. You know what I'm saying?
right. You're right. I I think that, for me, I believe, I think that the younger generation would listen more to more. I think that the younger generation would listen more to a group than an individual.
Yeah.
So I firmly believe that if everyone who's doing it in our generation finds a way to coexist to educate the younger mass, I
Mm,
think that people will see it better than maybe, let's say, a Nick Nonstop who has a class
yeah.
and is teaching kids how to DJ. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Or somebody who's working up north with just a few kids. Whereas if, for example, Nick Nonstop and the dude up north decide to get together and incorporate all the kids together at one time,
Yeah.
the more foundation that people see, the more that they'll take it as concrete justice to do what's right.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? I just, positivity is I think is absolutely wonderful, and I think, but see, based on where we at, I mean, the only thing worse than politics in Chicago is house music in Chicago. So whereas
Whew.
if I'm sitting if I'm sitting here lifting you up and I'm doing what I can to lift you up, there are about five other people that are not lifting you up in the same
Yeah.
aspect.
And that's what's wrong. I have because it's too many people following behind other people and making them, like you can like me, but the person that's with you don't like me because this
Right.
person that they following don't like me, which is the dumbest
Okay.
thing in the world. They should stop that. They should cut that out. And you have to get to know me to understand if you like me and
Got you.
not. Sit down with me. I
Okay.
bet you if anybody sat down with me for a good hour, like you've done, you learn a lot about Titan Davis.
Right. I mean,
You know,
again, because everybody goes off of what was said and they don't know what they know. And I feel you.
yeah, you got to
All
go
right.
to the
So
source.
we, right, absolutely. All right. So we about to wrap this up. However, this is
Yeah,
now it's plug time. I want everybody to know, again, because again, I buy your music anyway. So I want you to tell
appreciate.
everybody where your music is at, where they can
Yeah.
look for it at, and if you're doing anything in Chicago in the near future.
Okay. You can go to my site, which is Titan Davis 2. Number two, TitanDavis2.bandcamp.com. You can go there and buy my remixes and some of my original works there. I'm doing something this Sunday at Lil's Cool Lounge, which is crazy because This is gonna have Teresa Griffin performing and Dajay performing, and I was asked to be the DJ for that night, along with Sundance. It's gonna be a great night. If you guys ain't doing nothing this weekend, slide by. It's gonna be off the chain. But other than that, can't wait to get to New York to perform at Funk Box. I'm ready. I'm geeked for that. And again, shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that support me. I support you guys too. Just let me know where you at. If I can make it, I'll show up. If I'm not, you gotta blame it on my health. You know, I am up and down with it. So, but let me know.
Okay. When are you doing Funk Box?
I gotta get the confirmation. That's what I'm saying. They're working on that now.
Okay.
We gotta get my rider back from them. See what they're talking about, and let's get it.
So everybody that is not a friend on Facebook with him, his name is Maurice Davis.
Yeah,
look him up. You got a DJ page too, right?
Yeah, you can go to Titan Davis the Guillotine. Okay. Go to that page and like me on there. Okay. I do have a Titan Davis page, but I'm locked out of that, so I don't go there. You won't get a friend request. You won't get a response at all. So. But I appreciate you guys.
What people don't know is, again, I know you release music sporadically, but you actually drop full albums. You just dropped the full album.
I just dropped unreleased. Yes, a couple days back. It's doing. Yep. Thank y'all for buying it. It's going really, really good. I was surprised because I have a bunch of stuff that I made and I didn't put it out because I ain't want no static. But I was told, man, go ahead and drop it. Just drop it.
Yeah, I just want you to know I'm a house hit is ridiculous. So yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, again, see what people don't know is there are certain songs that it is a mandatory for me to play when I DJ. And a lot of people don't know that, again, he did a remix. I'm gonna tell everybody now. He did a remix of Smells Like Teen Spirit. It is called Smell Like House Spirit. If you listen to my mixes, you know I play it. So I'm telling you now, is it on Bandcamp?
No, because that was in my precursor of getting to know Guillotine days. And I was just putting something together, but surprise, I got something for you. I'm gonna do a remix of it again. It's gonna be crazy. So thank you.
Okay.
Floyd.
So yeah, friend him on Facebook, follow him on Bandcamp. Again, this guy is extremely talented. He's actually a great down-to-earth guy. If you sit here and can have a conversation with him. So I thank you, brother. It's an opportunity. Again, see, I know you, but I want everybody else to know you. So,
much love to the radio station, Vintage House. I love you guys. Thanks for having me again for the second time. And man, keep it house. Keep it funky. Keep it house.
I appreciate it. So this is WNUR 89.3 FM and HD1 Evanston, Chicago, the Vintage House Radio Show. I was your host tonight, DJ Rocky Floyd. And again, big shout out, big thank you to the Abbott, Titan Davis, Maurice Davis, my friend. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, peace.
All right, man. Later.
All right.
All right. That is music. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, so now I can turn everything. So the board is not hard. It's only hard when people come in and mess it up.